Welcome to Table of Contents. And today, because there's an ice storm, we we're recording virtually. So today we figured we're a little late to the game, but we figured we were gonna talk about our top 5 books of 2024. And so each of us has 5 books to go over, and mine are in chronological order.
Mine are in no
Not
particular order, really.
in no particular order, just like the order that you thought them up in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was scrolling through my higher rated Goodreads.
Yeah, I kind of did that. Like, I went through all my 5 stars, and it just so happened, like, I just took them in order that I made them 5 stars, which also happened to be chronological order.
I catch you.
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll let you go first.
You go first? Okay.
Yeah, you go
Oh,
first.
also, for the people, this is, what, the 7th time that...
This is 8.
8th time. This is the 8th time that we have attempted to film this video. Or this episode, because the first time our system kept crashing on us, which is also happens to be the system that we have to use to do this virtually. So I'm crossing my fingers that nothing crazy happens this time. But I did look it up. They were having a system crash when we were trying to do it that day.
Oh,
So it wasn't us. It
their
was the
servers were?
system. There was their
Okay.
servers that were crashing.
Yeah. Because the first episode we recorded went just fine.
Yeah, because we did two
And
that
then
night too. Or
we'll
we
try
attempted
to.
to do two. We tried to do two. Yeah, first video went fine, and then everything just went. It was a downhill from there. The mics died, so the system wasn't. The server was down. It was just not.
The big old sign. Big old sign.
Yeah. So we're hoping that this time it's better. Okay. So we're prefacing this by saying if we seem like we've rehearsed the first 2 book descriptions, it's because we have.
We've heard them from each other several times now.
Several times now. So if we seem less enthused about the first 2, you know why. Okay. So my first one is Light Lark by Alex Astor. This is the one about the book where the island only appears every 100 years.
Yes.
And so there are like 6 realms, 6 rulers of these 6 realms, and they all come together every 100 years on this island. And they try to solve this prophecy to cure the curses that they have. So each realm is also cursed, and they're trying to cure their curses. So the one ruler that we follow is Isla, and she doesn't have any magical powers. So she has to not only survive, because one of the prophecies is that one of them has to die, which everybody knows going into it, so it's not a spoiler. And her not having any magical powers is also not a spoiler, because you find out within like the first chapter. It's like you're supposed to know that she doesn't have.
Do the other rulers know that?
No, the other rulers have no idea that she doesn't have powers.
Okay.
Yeah, so not only does she have to survive of not being the one that they picked to get murdered, but and she also is like falling in love with one of the other rulers. And
Of course.
yeah, it's a romantasy. So right now there's 3 books in the series: Lightlark, Nightbane, and Skyshade. Skyshade I read in literally 6 hours.
Yeah, I remember you texting me.
Yeah. But book
My
4
gaps
has been
were floundering.
announced. Yes. Book 4 has been announced to exist in the future. So, like, book 4
Okay.
is either written or halfway written or whatever, so it exists. And that's
But they
the
didn't
first
announce a
one.
date or anything.
No, we don't even know what the title is.
Okay.
So that's my book 1.
Okay. Well, then, for my book 1, I am gonna choose Fahrenheit 451. It's one of the classics of sci-fi, one of the originals, written by Ray Bradbury, who's considered by most to be one of the founding fathers of science fiction. It was on my to-read list for a while, because I liked all his other books. If you like short story compilations, The Illustrated Man by him is one of the top in my opinion. So Fahrenheit 451 is about it's another dystopia. So if you don't like those, watch out. Where now this was originally written in 1953, so the future here still is a bit retro, but
So it's like now.
yeah, the future is now, but even the tech they describe sounds a bit old sometimes. But it's a future where, as the future kept progressing more and more, people's attention spans shrunk more and more as the newest thing kept coming out and the new marvel and technology like kept catching their eye, and basically people in charge realized that that was a nice way to placate people, where they were happy and nothing got questioned too much and everything. So basically everything was made to keep people in a state of like focusing on something else. Like the whole wall in a TV, the whole wall at a house became for a TV, and they would always produce quick junk shows to keep everyone like waiting for the next thing. And then when that show quickly ended, another one immediately started to keep everyone just like wondering about the TV. And books were outlawed because they were deemed too complex and made people think thoughts that sometimes weren't just happy and complicated. And with that, the job of being a fireman changed from stopping fires to actively starting fires if they caught you having books in your house, or they would burn your house down and confiscate any books to burn. And the protagonist of this story is one of these said firemen. His name is Guy Montag, which just means Guy Monday. He's just like an average Joe, who one day walking home from work encounters the neighbor girl, who I guess would be like a Luna Lovegood type archetype, where she's just like, like she seems like her head's in the clouds and always ditzy, but she's like dispelling more than people think she knows. And he's put off by it, and he asks why she wasn't watching TV, and she said she finds it boring, which admittedly he does too. And she reveals like she eats dinner with her family every night, and they talk to each other, which him and his wife never do because his wife's always watching the TV. And he asks her to look up at the stars, which again, never do. They don't look at nature. They don't do anything. They just head straight home from their jobs, and it gets him a little curious. And not really a spoiler, but he cracks open a book, and his eyes are open, and everything starts spiraling from there of what it means to actually think for yourself. Yes.
Interesting.
So that was my book 1.
Okay. I like that. My book 2 is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And so if honestly, like, you should know what this book is, but also if you don't, it's about this college where they teach young adults, so college age kids essentially, to fight on the backs of dragons instead of on the ground. So it follows this one girl who her whole life wants to be like a scribe. So she wants to be the history keeper and like the messenger for like the things that are going on. Trains her whole life to be a scribe. And her mom, who's a dragon rider, says, no, you're going to be a dragon rider. So the book is about her trying to overcome, like, all of these, like, physical anomalies and everything like that to become a dragon rider. But also, she has to overcome the fact that her mom, so there was this revolution, and her mom is one of the people who was in charge of killing the parents of all of these kids who are part of the college because of, like, their revolution. So all these kids are mad because their parents are dead because of her mom. So they're all trying to kill her.
So take it out on her, right?
Yeah, so they try to take it out on her. So it's a very politically charged series. So it's confirmed to have 5 books. There are currently 3 right now. There's Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm, which I'm only 30% of the way through.
Okay.
Just so to get that out there for everybody, which is not a good sign because I got it the day after it came out.
Oh.
Yes. I have opinions. We'll get to those when I finish the book.
Like the Onyx Storm.
No, for real though, like it kind of is.
Sorry, Yaros. No offense to Yaros.
Yeah, no offense, but well, see, here's the thing: is it's supposed to only be a trilogy. It was originally written as a trilogy. It was finished. She knew where it was going, and then it got so popular that the publishers and her were like, "Let's just make more money from it." I mean, that's probably wasn't their decision. That's probably not the focus of their decision, but they were like, "Oh, it's so popular, we can, like, capitalize on this."
Let's turn a trilogy into a 5-parter.
Yes, let's turn trilogy into a 5-book series. So now, like, Onyx Storm is just a filler. Like, literally, I watched I'm going on a tangent, but just one more thing. I watched a non-spoiler review of it, and this person literally said, you start and end at the same place. Well, nothing happens.
That's just thematic bookends.
Oh my gosh, I can't. So anyway, there's 3 books. Also, I don't know if I said this already or not, but they're going to turn it into a TV series.
Oh.
By Amazon.
Okay, I was about to ask who's doing it, who's funding it.
Yes, Amazon is producing it. Yaros is very involved, and she says she's seen the script for, like, the first episode or the first couple episodes, and she says it's really good.
Oh, that's good. And because it's on Amazon, there's a good chance it just won't get canceled out of nowhere.
Also that. So, that's my second book.
Okay.
Rant over.
My second book is the first book in a trilogy that actually stayed a trilogy. So thanks for me. It's called Gwendy's Button Box.
Okay.
It's a joint effort by Stephen King, for King fans out there, and Richard Shizmar, who has a few books of his own. The second book is called Gwendy's Magic Feather, and the final one is Gwendy's Final Task. So basically, the overarching plot is a mysterious stranger appears in front of young Gwendy when she's exploring a park one day, and tells her he can sense a strong willpower in her, basically, like a strong urge to do good and the willpower to follow through with it. And he entrusts her with a very gorgeous mahogany box. And on the box, there are 2 little levers, one on each side, and 8 buttons on top. Okay. He tells her to never press any of the buttons because 6 of the buttons stand for 6 of the main continents minus Antarctica. Then the red button is specifically for what or whoever she's thinking of in particular, and the black button is total world crisis.
Okay.
And the levers produce either on one side a rare coin that's out of mint and thus worth of the hefty sum of money, or a small little chocolate that changes what shape it is each time, but basically like unlocks your full potential, like makes everything in the universe line up for you.
Okay.
Now but the problem with using those chocolates and coins more and more is that the box will call out to you more and more and try and get you to press the buttons to cause chaos. And it basically is the first book's basically a look at Gwendy discovering this, and her struggle with her willpower to keep the box safe as the stranger entrusted her to do as she grows up.
Okay.
People, it's a very mixed reviews I've seen because a lot of people like it, but it is easy to tell parts where King's writing happened and then Shizmar's writing happened, and I mean it flows pretty well, but it's kind of easy to tell the style, so it might throw off some people. And if you prefer the King side, the second book in the trilogy, Shizmar wrote mostly by himself, so that threw off a lot of people as well. And then the third was back to 50-50 again. But by the third book, it does, you can tell it does take place in like King's larger Kingverse.
This Kingverse.
Yes, I mean this whole story takes place in Castle Rock, Maine, which everyone knows King loves Maine and Castle Rock and Derry.
So is it dual POVs? Or is it just from the POV of Gwendolyn?
Nope, it's just Gwendy.
Okay, so that can also be a thing why I could see like it would be hard. It would be easy to notice the different writing styles because like 2 different people are writing for the same character.
Yes. And they both have very distinct elements that are theirs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
There's this one series, and I'm hesitant to start it for 2 reasons. It's Zodiac Academy.
Okay.
So
that one.
The one reason that I'm hesitant to start it is because it's like a 27 book universe.
Oh.
Like there's 12 books for the main one, and then there's spin-off series, and each spin-off series has like 3 to 5 books in it.
Sounds like Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, so it's a commitment. But the second reason is because it's written by 2 different authors. But it also has different POVs in it, point of views. So like each author, I think, takes so many characters and they write that chapter or that point of view for that character, and then the other author, I think, takes other characters and writes the POV for those characters. So like neither author is ever writing for the other one's character.
Okay.
Because I think that's how they do it.
Okay.
But
interesting.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about it.
This one does the fun thing of where like the fiction parts of this world explain like a real world event that happened.
Oh yeah. You said
I don't want to, in case everyone wants to read this, I don't want to spoil what event it was, but let's just say at one point Gwendy doubts the box is real, so she tests it out and presses one of the buttons. It causes a
something happens.
Yeah. And then she's like, never again.
Okay. All right. So my third one is a romance.
Ooh.
Yes. So this one is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score, because it takes place in this town called Knock 'Em Out.
Okay.
And this one is called Things We Hide from the Light.
Okay.
So it's a small town romance. So the love interest, and this is also dual POV. I've come to like those in romance books. So it's about a cop with PTSD and his brother's wife's best friend.
Brother's wife's best friend.
Best friend, yes. Yeah. So the best friend moves to town, and you find out that she also has her own like mental health issues. And so she helps the police officer like get through all of his stuff. So it deals with anxiety and PTSD a lot. And I would say, like, as long as you also are not a police officer, like, you can read this book and you won't get triggered.
I thought, okay, makes sense.
Because it's like, it's very like job specific. The stuff that like happens.
Causing, okay.
Yeah. But it's one of my favorite books because, like, as a counselor, I liked the way that they dealt with mental health in the book and the way that they described it, and they actually use like real coping skills in the book to like help them deal with it. So that's why I really liked it. It's also a completed series, so if you're one of those people who doesn't like starting series before it's over, you can read this one.
How many is in this series?
3. There's only 3 books.
Okay.
So each book is about both the brothers and then their one male friend.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So that's your book 3.
That's my third book. That's my book 3.
Okay. My third book
dies. Oh, wait.
Oh no, what?
I also have the special edition.
Oh, yes. You gotta show off the special edition.
Okay, sorry. I'm filming a video for later for my YouTube, and I had it there, and I was like, oh, wait, I need to show it. Okay, anyway, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna clap here. All right, so my book 3 is a deep dive into sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
With a little bit of love and trauma as well.
Okay.
Good old fashioned time travel shenanigans. This.
Oh, is this the one I like?
Yes. I think.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one that might actually get me to read a sci-fi book.
Try sci-fi. This one is the Paradox Hotel.
Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of.
Okay, by Rob Hart. So basically, in this world, a scientist, she discovers time travel is possible, and she sets it up, but it requires like a big, like warehouse size building to facilitate it. And you can't go forward in time. You only go backwards, and then return to your original time. You can't go to the future at all. But of course, society being the way it is, they find the best way to commercialize it, and attached to the time travel building, a hotel is built, the Paradox Hotel, where the rich, if you can afford it, can take luxurious vacations back in time to wherever you choose. And thus the branch of the government called the Time Enforcement Agency is made to make sure that the people that are going back are only going back for the vacation, and they don't alter anything because they don't know if that'll happen with the butterfly effect, or to make sure they don't try and smuggle anything back to the present. And the main character is like the top member of the Time Enforcement Agency. Her name is January Cole, and you slowly, well, not slowly, you find out in the first couple of chapters, so it's not really a spoiler, that there's a condition that the guards get if they're around the machine for too long, and they call it being unstuck. Or basically they're around the machine for so long that their own timeline like unravels around them, and they start like seeing flashbacks of their past. But it's not like it's in their mind, they're daydreaming it. Like they visually see their past happening in front of them. Like if they walked up the stairs 3 weeks ago, like they'll see themselves and their friends talking as they go up the stairs.
That's so weird.
Yes, so they're like stop staring at it, but no one else can really see it because they're just experiencing the past of their own timeline. And eventually, it as it progresses, it unwinds the brain and is pretty much fatal. They have medicine that can delay it pretty good, especially if they catch it in the early stages. But the January, she keeps seeing her dead wife, who also works at the hotel, as she experiences more and more of her past. And on top of that, the owners of the hotel are ready to sell the hotel and the warehouse to any corporation. They're having a bidders meeting with the top people from around the world coming to bid on it, which means some rich person and company is going to have the only way to access time travel, and who knows what they're going to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's personally against that and trying to solve it, but at the same time, she goes unstuck one day, but forward, which has never happened anywhere to anyone or anything, where she saw a future. And of course, she tries to hide this because that would mean her condition is worsening, or clearly something's happening to her. And
yeah, something's happening.
They'd probably force her to retire, and she's the classic like, I ain't retire until I'm a body on the floor.
Yeah, till I'm dead.
And she. So yeah, Hera gives Meg a task, which is nice to see her point of view and everything, and the struggles she goes through on whether she's even worth the chance to become a god or not, because she still has self-esteem issues after everything. And the journey is not also to prove her worth of being a god, but also to help her determine what she would be the goddess of if she succeeds.
Okay.
And it expands upon the Greek lore that you wouldn't see during the movie, like the river Styx or Persephone and Hades being all smitten with each other, which was nice to see it expanding more into like the original Greek lore. Some of the gods that were in the movie kept their Disneyfied personalities in here, like Zeus being mostly magnanimous and Hades being evil, and that wasn't really mostly the case in mythology, but still a good read.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my book 4.
I like that. Okay. So my book 5. Let me fix my headphones. My book 5 is okay. I'm gonna get out really quick. Okay. Book 5 is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn, one of my other favorite authors.
This book.
And listen, I was thinking about it, and I stand by this. This will be, now aside from the sequel potentially, but this will be the best holiday book I have ever read. I do not think I can find one better than this book, except for potentially when the sequel comes out next year.
Like for holiday in general or holiday romance?
Holiday in general.
Oh, wow. Wow,
I
folks.
know. Big move. Big move. Big move.
She's making the claims.
I know. Okay. So what it is literally think the Grinch, except they're all humans. And that's it. Like, it's this girl and her neighbors competing to see who's going to be the town cheermeister. And the girl is competing in it only because her grandma asked her to. And the male protagonist is competing in it literally just to annoy the girl who's only doing it because her grandma asked her to.
But the male is still the Grinch.
Yes, yes. So he like
Okay.
hates Christmas. He thinks the whole cheermeister thing is stupid, and he only does it solely to annoy the crap out of this girl. Because she's like super Christmas and she's like everything about Christmas is amazing. And he's like, you're full of crap. Like, it's not. So it has a Grinch theme throughout the entire book, and each chapter starts with a poem in the prose of the Grinch,
Like the
like the
Seussian rhyme
original
scheme.
Dr. Seuss. Yeah, the Seussian rhyme scheme.
Okay.
And it's so good. So the second book is coming out in October.
Oh.
So if you think about it, really not that far away.
We're in February.
Yeah, but we're almost out of winter. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're almost out of winter, and then we're going to be in summer. Summer only has 3 months, and then we have September,
Time's
October.
moving forward fast enough. Don't rush it anymore.
Okay, regardless, it's called Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, and I am here for it.
I wonder what they're parroting in that one.
I'm so excited.
Okay. When you said there was a sequel, I knew it was either going two ways. I knew it was either going to be another Christmas romance from another Christmas story, which what it turned out to be,
Mm-hmm.
or another romance stealing from a Dr. Seuss plot point.
No, what other Dr. Seuss book could you turn into a romance?
Well, I didn't think it'd be the Grinch into a romance either, but you could have one man, two men, red man, blue man.
It turned into a threesome. A male threesome.
Or the Green Eggs and Ham Diner. I don't know.
That one's not a bad idea. Okay. What's your last book?
Everybody in the comments, let us know what your favorite Christmas novel is.
Oh, yes.
Some interaction going on.
Even though we're in February.
You can still have a favorite Christmas novel.
You can.
My last book, I was gonna pick A Dirty Job, which is it's by a British author, so it has some nice dry British humor in it.
Okay.
It's book one of a duology. The second book being Secondhand Souls. But it does take place in the author's larger universe. The author is Christopher Moore. And some characters from his other books that were written before this show up in this book.
From the universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them is just barely cameoed as like being referenced. and another one is like the tritagonist. What's 3 levels down? Not protagonists, not the second level sidekicks, but they're deuteragonists. I guess tritagonist. He's he's in there to help the plot along, and you see him quite a lot, but he's from one of the other books.
Okay.
So it's about a dude named Charlie who runs a pawn shop with his wife, and it's not really spoilers because it happens within the first chapter. His wife passes away giving birth to their son.
Okay.
Then Charlie, basically, without getting too much into the plot or spoiling things, Charlie sees a dude standing over her and collecting her favorite tape album. And through a series of events, he realizes he becomes a like soul merchant who collects the souls of dead people, which goes into their favorite item, and has to pass the soul energy along to a new body needing a soul.
It's like a Reaper.
Kind of. They're basically the mall Santas of death.
Okay.
Where, like, the mall Santas all respond and help out the big guy up north
Yeah.
for all the malls. Yes. None of them are actually the Grim Reaper themselves. They're just help collect the various souls in their district and move them on to the next body.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, and he's basically unwilling. Like, he doesn't want any of this. He's basically the blandest guy you could meet. And he's forced into this role, and he has to take it up, because if the souls get into the wrong hands, it can bring forces back into the physical realm that aren't supposed to be there.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
But if anyone's ever read Christopher Moore's other works and they've liked it, then this duology would be for them.
Nice.
Another good one to read, quick side note of his, if you're trying to get into Christopher Moore, is The Gospel According to, I think it's Bink, The Gospel According to Bonk. Which is basically like a side story of like the life and times of Jesus, but it's told by his best friend growing up, Bink.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like Bink's perspective on Jesus growing up.
Oh my goodness. Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so those are our top 5.
Yes.
So top 10 actually. But we also have 2 other things we wanted to do in this video, or in this episode. I keep saying video because we're recording it, but really it's a podcast episode. So this is not at all sponsored. However, if this company would like to sponsor ever at any point in time, we would be just over the moon thrilled. But Zach got some new books.
Yes.
And
I got a book haul that came today.
Tell us what his books are, because I genuinely want to know, and this is how we're talking for the foreseeable future because of the snow ice situation. So
yes, I didn't even tell her what they were yet, folks, so she's gonna be learning right along with you.
Yes. Okay, so where did we get these books in case they want to sponsor us?
We're gonna get into that. I got these from Book Outlet. Again, not a sponsor, but if they get into this, we'd be happy to have you as our first sponsor. So basically, Book Outlet is a website that would take books that basically got overpublished, like there are some leftovers in the warehouse, and they needed to get rid of the extra stock. So like they'll take the extra stock and then mark them down very cheap. Like you're getting like $25 to $35 books for between $5 to $8. And that's both soft and hardcover. All mine are hardcover. I'm a hardcover preference type of person. And they
Mhm.
were $8 each. I think the most expensive one was $9.45. And they, as I'll show you, they all come in pretty good condition. Only 2 of them have a small marker, which they usually get put on the top or bottom pages if they're overstock, to let people know if they're overstock. But
Yeah, so they're not like damaged. It's like
no, it's
it's a what do you call that? Um when it's like in the world. It's like it's a known publishing thing that
yes,
this happens.
it's just surplus air. So there's liquidated the extra surplus. The first book I got is The Tropic of Stupid by Tim Dorsey. I believe I talked about Tim Dorsey before and his
Yeah.
Florida murder mystery series.
Mhm.
As you can see, it's very good condition. The top just has a little black marker on it. That's it. Other than that, it's very nice. The pages are still white and everything. This is book 24 in the 26 book series.
That's crazy. I just
Yeah,
still can't believe that book series is that big.
I'm not at book 24 yet. I'm still like on book 6. But when I saw this book pop up on the website, I wasn't gonna not buy it for
Not
these
get it.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I could. Um, so yeah, that was book 1. I can't wait till I eventually get to read what it's about. The next book which I'm excited for is Dark Stars,
Oh.
which it's a technically it's an anthology. It's a collection of, is it 12? I believe it's 12 novelettes of today's like top horror authors.
Oh.
Um yes, and the title and some of the themes are what it said right in here. An homage to the 1980 horror anthology Dark Forces. And this has a an afterword from one of the original authors of Dark Forces in it at the end.
Oh, that's cool.
But yes, a few of the things it has on here are an island that harbors unspeakable power, a dark hallway that beckons people inside of it, um, monsters both human and supernatural, and all kind of genres from traditional to modern, dark fantasy to noir, explorations of beloved horror tropes to subverting the unknown. All kinds of stories in here.
Nice.
The third one is another anthology of horror. I'm on a real horror binge lately, but this is all by one person.
Okay.
This one's called A Sliver of Darkness by C.J. Tudor,
Okay.
and she has been named basically the female Stephen King of Britain.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like top horror writer in Britain. She's a female Stephen King. Stephen King even gave her a blurb on the book saying, "If you like my stuff, you'll more than love this."
Nice.
Um,
Always good.
I didn't get a chance to read her main book that she's known for. It says on here she's the author of The Chalk Man. So I would
Mm.
have to take a look at that then. Um, but some of the blurbs for the final things here are a thwarted love, revenge, and something very nasty in a hot box. Or the world has descended into darkness, but a group of friends make time for one last dinner party. Or a strange piece of graffiti leads to a terrifying encounter for 4 school friends. So we'll see. I'll come back with reviews on what type of horror this one has.
Okay.
And then the top one I was looking forward to, because this is going to be my next one I'm reading, because I just finished the book I was reading today, actually. I finished my currently reading book, Leech.
Oh.
Yes. By, I hope I don't butcher this guy's name too hardly, Hiron Enes. the back basically says, "Meet the cure for the human disease." So it starts off all of the thing where said leech is defrosted in Antarctica. But it takes place in a world where another species already came to Earth and like guided humanity along, so to speak. Is what I was saying. Like they chose some people to get like high intelligence and become the medical field and work on both humans and the species that like took over and like helps guide us. So like we kind of became like domesticated pets to them. Like they're advancing us for their own, you know, profit to help work on their medical fields and stuff. But then this leech gets unthawed, and then its species tries to do the opposite, where like invades our bodies and like tries to make us revert back into like feral primal.
So we can like really be.
So like we're just like creatures again, and thus the battle for humans begins between these two species. But we're probably gonna lose either way.
Nice.
But yes, it's been described as where was that? Oh, here you go. It's been a nice mix of gothic horror and fascinating science fiction.
Okay.
As if David Cronenberg met Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm sure everyone knows Edgar Allan Poe. You know, gothic poetry, horror,
Yeah.
sci-fi. And if you don't know David Cronenberg, he's famous for a lot of his works involve like body horror, like things morphing and crunching around. If you ever watched Rick and Morty, that episode where Rick messes everything up and they turn into horrible flesh blobs, he literally calls them Cronenberg world.
Oh, okay.
He says, well, we're Cronenberg, Rick and Morty. Welcome to Cronenberg world, where, and they're all flesh blobs, and that's because it's referencing David Cronenberg.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is I'm going to read next.
That's your next read?
Yes, because they have a book coming out this year that I'm excited for.
Okay.
Hint for our next episode.
Okay. So speaking of dark horror things.
Oh yeah.
And this is in that conversation that I told you that I wanted to have, that we should have while we're recording, because it is book related.
Okay.
And then and that also brings in my current read that I'm having, which is what we usually do to end the podcast, as we go over our current reads or our next reads that we're starting. TikTok made me read this book.
Oh right, you guys said you're gonna go down a TikTok hole story. I can't wait to hear this.
I went down a TikTok hole.
Okay, where are we going here?
I feel like, first of all, I hope my dad doesn't listen to this episode, because
are we gonna get demonetized?
No, we're not gonna get demonetized. First of all, we're not monetized in the first place yet. But
not yet, but yeah.
But second of all, I don't. People are gonna know things about me. Okay, so do you know the genre of dark romance? Like, do you know what that is?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay, so basically it's like let me give you an example.
Okay.
So there's this book about these two serial killers who fall in love.
Okay.
Called Butcher and Blackbird.
Okay, I've seen that book. Yes, around.
Yes. Okay. So it's very descriptive in like how they murder these people.
Okay.
And like what they do in their relationship with these people. Not with the dead people, but like what they do in their relationship, and like how them murdering people, like, you know. So
I'm excited.
yes. So this book that TikTok made me read, it's not that one. It's a totally different one. It's called Lights Out. And
Okay.
it's a stalker romance.
Ooh.
So here's the now wait, because it's also more than that. So
Okay.
the plot of this book is this girl has a kink where she likes to watch thirst traps of men in masks.
Okay.
Okay. So she watches, her favorite creator happens to be her ex's roommate.
Ah.
So who also like has this like stalking kink where he likes to pretend that he's like stalking and like chasing these women, and then they like, it's called, oh, there's a specific word for it. Hold on, it's in my brain. I know the acronym.
Is it
It's
CNC?
no, the
Oh.
acronym is con dub condub
Okay.
consensual domineering something. So basically, like, I think maybe. So basically, like, they're in agreement and they know that this is a fake situation, but it plays out. So anyway, so this guy ends up breaking into this girl's house. So the plot is about how this guy breaks into this girl's house. They meet with each other. They start a relationship. And then, this isn't a spoiler because you find out in the first chapter, she
How do
starts
you
getting
know?
stalked. Because I've started reading it already.
Oh, okay.
She starts
How about
getting
you gotta listen to TikTok
actually, no, she starts getting actually stalked.
by a different person? Oh no. Do. Hello.
I'm back.
Okay. I thought for sure you were talking about CNC.
I don't know what it is.
Oh. Consensual non-consent.
Oh, yeah, but when I see it on like reading stuff, that's not how it's worded.
Where it's like, that like they're role playing, like,
Yes.
push me in an alley
Yeah,
and
which
force me.
is what it is. Yeah.
CNC.
Yes. So also that. But yeah, so she ends up getting stalked by this other person who, this what is a little bit of a spoiler alert, but you do also learn it in the second chapter of the book. I think it's the guy's dad
Oh.
who is a serial killer.
Oh, of course.
I think he gets out of jail or breaks out of jail. This is my guess. Because I am only on chapter like 3. But I think he gets out of jail or breaks out of jail, tries to find his kid, who is the guy, the male protagonist in this book. And I think the dad finds out that he's in love with this girl and he starts stalking her. So anyway, not only did I learn about this book from TikTok, but I was like, why is this interesting. Like, why would this be a thing? So I looked it up, and uh, in real life TikTok, it's all just a whole bunch of these guys who are wearing like their military gear to look like Call of Duty players,
Okay.
which pretty sure you're not supposed to do, by the way, like against your military contract. So it must be like people who are buying stuff from like the military surplus stores.
Mm.
And like shirtless guys wearing scream masks. And I'm like, this. So I fell down that hole just trying to educate myself for this book that I'm reading.
Some real good education there.
And now my For You page has like dark romance books and men in masks on it. That's what my TikTok page is full of now. Oh god. So anyway, that's the book that I'm currently reading. And also, must say, it's very good as an audiobook. I'm trying it as an audiobook, and it's because I saw it in the one reading group that I'm in on Facebook. They were like, hey, you should read this book, but also like the audiobook version is really good. So I was like, okay. So I started listening to the audiobook version, and then I was like, one of the things that I find hard about audiobooks is I don't know what to do while I'm listening to the book. So I also got the book from the library, and I've been reading it on my Kindle while I'm listening to it.
So you're reading the same book as you're listening to it?
Yeah, so I'm just like glancing over the words as I'm listening to it. Anyway, that's what I'm currently reading, and that's the TikTok hole that I fell down. Men in masks.
All right.
Yeah. There you have it. That's what's happening in my life right now.
How fun that we're going to a masquerade ball.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like creepy masks like they have, though. They're going to be classy ones.
That's true.
Which I also thought would be a good idea when we go. We can do a special episode.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something else I wanted to mention that I forgot.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah.
You want to do our outro?
Yeah. Well, should we give them a hint of what we're doing next? Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a like and a comment on whatever platform you listen to us onto. It helps us let us know we're doing a good job. And well, we checked out some books, and we'll check you guys out next time.
Yay!